Coming up on Let's Get to the Points.
I'm on a mission to get you to cheat on Hyatt.
You don't know me. I mean, I'm all for a good deal.
So Nicole, let's see. Only 2 cards, no annual fee. You'll get 3 free nights anywhere at a Hilton. And you only have to spend $4,000 on these 2 cards. What do you think?
Miguel, I now assume that you're going to try to convince me to go to Marriott, right?
Nicole, I need to convince myself to stay with me.
Now, let's get to the points. She loves to pretend being a crazy rich Asian. It's Serena. Sometimes his journey is the destination. It's Miguel. She takes family budget travel to another level. It's Nicole. And he only lies flat over the Atlantic and Pacific Ocean. It's Mitch Shannon.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on Let's Get to the Points video and audio podcast, where we bring you the very best in tips and tricks in the world of miles, points, and travel. I'm Mitch Shannon, joined by my co-hosts who love traveling the world with their families using their credit card points and miles. First up, her mission is to always travel in comfort and style. It's Serena.
Hi, everyone.
He's always finding the best and greatest deals for your points. It's Miguel.
Yeah, what's up?
And she's a points maximizer, if that's such a thing. It's Nicole.
Hi, guys. How are you?
Please help us out. Click that subscribe button now to our YouTube channel, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you watch or listen. Also, give us a like and leave us a comment below and tell us what you think about our show. Now it's time to do it. Let's get to the points. All right, tonight we're going to follow up to last week's show where we all applied for a new credit card because there's some unfinished business with what went down. And Serena, Nicole, I think you got an update for us?
I do. My update's pretty short.
Okay.
So if you remember, I applied for the Citi Strata Premier card and I was denied. They said they would send me a letter in 7 to 10 days. I haven't seen the letter yet, but I called the reconsideration line and I actually knew that Citi has this unwritten rule. It's called the 5-day rule, where if you've had any application from any bank within 5 days of your application, they're going to flat out deny you. And I looked back and it turns out I did have one only 2 days before I applied for the Strata card. So I thought that might be the reason. So I called the reconsideration line and I got this nasty lady. So I hung up and I called back again because that's what you do when you don't get someone you like talking to you. And I got this really nice person. I asked her if she could pull my credit report again to see if I would get approved. And she said, sure, no problem. So she did it and I got denied again. So I tried. So I'm giving up at this point.
Under your name.
Under my name. Yes, I have given up under my name. I have other cards that I am eyeing. Like, for example, I know the Citi AA business card. It has no annual fee in the first year. That bonus is ending soon. And so I might go for that one instead, but stay tuned.
So basically what you're saying, Serena, is your denial comes all down to how many credit pulls you've had in the past couple of months?
They didn't indicate the time frame. So they never mentioned 5 days or years. The language is very vague about that. They just don't like the number of pulls, the number of inquiries.
So, Serena, my question to you is, if Citi didn't like all the inquiries you had, why have them pull your credit again?
I thought I would have cleared the 5-day rule, the unwritten 5-day rule by then. By the time I called, that 5 days would have passed already. So I thought maybe there was a chance I could be approved. How is your application going with the pending review that you got for your P3?
As you can see, the application went into pending review. I followed up with them. They gave me 7 days to reply, or they give Nana 7 days to reply. Nana, call them back today. And she had to submit her bank statements, which she did. And we have to wait 24 hours from that to see. So we have to have a third update to tell you what happened.
Another cliffhanger.
Another cliffhanger. It's a nail biter, I see. How is your daughter doing with her card? Is she racking up those points, Miguel?
She hasn't got the card in the mail yet, but she already has plans on how to get her $200 bonus. So I'm sure that'll come very quick.
Mitch, did you get your card?
No, it hasn't come yet, but I got a text message saying, did you actually apply for this Air France credit card? And I responded yes. And then they said no further action is needed. And then I do mail delivery with the United States Postal Service. So it tells you when stuff is coming. So I haven't seen it come in the mail yet. I got some stuff coming from Bank of America. Maybe it's it. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it's on its way.
I have that with the U.S. Post Office too, where they send you an email every morning to tell you what's coming that day. I love it.
What?
Then I
What
can
is
get
this?
excited if I
know
have
about this.
cards coming.
Yeah.
You sign up through the U.S. Post Office and they send you a photo of the mail that's coming that day.
Okay.
Is this available in Miami? Because this sounds anti-Miami.
And so, Miguel, you will know whether you need to go to the mailbox or not. Because I'm the same as you. We have a communal mailbox with a bunch of little boxes, and I don't go every day. But with this, I will know what days I need to go. In fact, I need to go today after we record.
If I'm not waiting for a new card, sometimes it's like a few days, a week even that I go without checking it. But when I'm waiting for a new card, like I'm there every day.
Well, now you don't have to waste a trip.
I don't have a communal mailbox. It's literally right outside my door and I still don't check it every day.
Is it locked?
There is a lock, of course. It wouldn't be a Haynes house unless it has a lock on it. Well, you heard it here first. I mean, Miguel and I had no idea about this alert system, so we are definitely signing up for this.
Another alarm for Nicole.
Oh, God.
You know, it's so funny because when I see something in my email that I know I'm getting, I turn on an alarm, check mail for later that day. So it's very much like Nicole.
Speaking of alerts, I got an alert today, a notification from a blog that the American Airlines loyalty program earnings things that they were going to change where you were not going to earn AA miles or loyalty points if you didn't book directly through American Airlines or one of their preferred travel partners is going away. I think their chief commercial officer is departing the organization, and along with that is probably what their plan was, and that would no longer be implemented. So we previously discussed this on a couple episodes, and you don't need to worry about it anymore because nothing will change the status quo. You will continue to earn American Airline miles and loyalty points no matter how you book your American Airline flights. It's just going to depend on the fare that you book, because I know there is some restrictions on earning when you book a basic economy fare. But other than that, American Airlines will continue to be the great airline that Mitch loves.
It seems like this guy getting canned is probably, well, okay, I don't know if he was technically canned, but from what I read some of those articles too, Miguel, and it seems like he wasn't that well liked, and he's kind of made American Airlines turn into almost this low-cost carrier. So it seems like they're ready to get rid of him, which probably would be a good thing.
Yeah, I experienced some of that low-cost carrier service when I was left hungry on my flight. And
Oh, dear.
so, yeah, hopefully they turn some stuff around. But
Yeah, I think this is good news for the industry overall and for us, right? It means other airlines will not follow suit and we can book any way we want.
Now, if the hotels would do that, what a win that would be. As long as Hyatt keeps their award chart, I'm fine with it.
I'm going to try to change your mind later, Nicole. I'm on a mission to get you to cheat on Hyatt.
You don't know me. I mean, I'm all for a good deal. You know, we do the weekly wins and losses. I'll give you a preview into one of the losses this week. I think I stayed at a Hilton, I don't know how many moons ago, but I logged into my account and for some reason I had 10,000 Hilton points. I was going to book a Hilton for our next trip. I was ready because I'm like, oh, I have some points. I logged into my account. Zero. I don't know what happened to them. I don't know if they expired. I was like, you know what? It's a sign.
They do expire. I forgot what the time frame is, maybe 18 months or so.
But there's got to be activity, right?
And we know Nicole has no Hilton activity.
My point, exactly.
I was going to try and call and ask, but I'll do that this week and see what happens.
no, you won't.
Yeah.
But did you really find a room for 10,000 Hilton points?
No. It wasn't. It was just allowing me to spend the 60,000 points. I felt like, okay, it's 50,000 for 2 rooms. That's not so bad, right? Transfer from Amex, get 2 for 1. I didn't get targeted for the 2.8, but I'm like, after this Airbnb stay that we had this weekend, I was like, Nyla, don't tell anyone I said this, but I think we should spend a little bit extra money.
It's time to go with the full service.
Yeah, maybe we should upgrade from the $30 a night Airbnb to something else.
Was it only $30 a night?
It was about $50 a night, yeah. And then by the time you add the fees was $76. But there was a reason. I'm going to leave you hanging for a little bit and then I'll tell you why it was only $70 a night.
Did you have to do any chores at this Airbnb? Because I know some of them, they make you like do chores. You got to take out the trash or you got to clean up. Otherwise you get charged extra fees.
No chores, surprisingly. But there was a surprise.
Come on, let's hear it.
Yeah.
All right. So
Let's just jump into it, Nicole.
Yeah.
As you know, since last year, I have been trying to go to El Salvador. Well, the time has finally come. I don't know if my family was excited, but we all went to El Salvador this weekend. We started out on Avianca, and my first experience with Avianca was not good, but this one was much better. Despite what Mitch might believe, the seats were super comfortable. I was able to take a nap on this 2-hour flight, and I thought, you know what? We finally made it. We got to El Salvador, and one thing I want people to know, when you get to El Salvador, you have to pay for a visa. It's $12 per person, and you only have to pay for the adults. So we saw a lot of people at immigration like, what do you mean? We have to pay $12. And I was like, you didn't watch Chu's video. But little did I know the joke was going to be on me a few minutes later. So we cleared customs, we cleared immigration, we get to the rent-a-car counter. I had my Avis car booked. When we get there, I noticed this lady is writing some numbers on a paper, and those numbers didn't match my reservation. She told me I had to pay an additional $100 for the mandatory insurance. I didn't know about this mandatory insurance, and I felt like I was in Costa Rica. So because I didn't want her to win, I don't know what I had with this lady, what issue, but I was like, ma'am, I'm not paying that $100. And so there were like 8 other car rentals there. So I went one by one to every counter asking, how much is a rental for 5 days? And you know, when you go to Europe and they have the restaurants and there's this lady with this menu and she's like, no, come to this restaurant. You know, those are not the good restaurants.
But you went to it anyway.
I went anyways. She lured me with the prospect of a discount. She was like, I got you, ma'am, $200. I was like, I'll take it. She goes, no deposit. And don't worry, you only have to tell us if you get into a big accident.
Little ones are okay.
All right, so we go outside into the parking lot and I'm looking at this car and I'm like, please God, don't let it be this car. It was that car. And I knew immediately why she was like, it's okay if it's a little accident, only the big ones. This car was terrible. It was dirty, disgusting, but they put Armor All on the tires. So it looked like it was nice and shiny, but the rest of the car was trashy.
Little lipstick on the pig.
Literally. This car had its landing lips on, Mitch.
Not good.
Okay, so we get in the car. I'm like, all right, it's disgusting, but I can't go back and face the Avis lady and ask her to give me the car I refuse to take. It's on like less than a quarter tank of gas. We pull into the gas station. We're filling up the car. And my son says, Mommy, is that a spider web on the seat? And I'm thinking, whatever. You know, I was parked outside. There's a spider web, you know, but there's no spider. He opens the door. He jumps out of the car. Nyla jumps out of the car. My husband jumps out, takes his shirt off. And I look at them and I look at their face. And I was like, I think I gotta go. I jump over into the passenger seat because I'm driving. And when I get out the car and I look in the car, there is this fat arachnophobia. Do you remember that movie from the 80s?
Yeah.
Type spider. The spider is so demonic that it has a cross on its back. Like the attendant from the gas station comes in, takes a spider out and was like, oh, don't worry about it. The spider just wants to play. Like, I don't know a lot of Spanish, but I guarantee you that's what he said. We took a minute. We got back in the car, headed to our hotel. Now we realize that the check engine light is on in the car. At this point, we should have gone back to the airport. We should have put our Serena hat on. I was like, I don't want this car. It's super disgusting. But I asked them and they said, you know what? It's fine. We'll keep the car. Wow. Serena, do you remember your story about the scabies?
Oh, yes, of course.
I was like, I'm definitely getting scabies from this car.
Well, 2 things I want to mention. The first is I love how your son calls you mommy. The second thing, why did James take off his shirt? Is it because he was concerned it crawled up his shirt or it was crawling on him?
I think because he saw the spider, he thought it bit him. But it didn't because it was on my seat, not his seat. For a good 20 minutes, he was convinced the spider bit him. He was like, oh my God, there's something on my neck. And Nala was like, the spider was never on your side.
You know, I'm amazed that you guys got this far and you even drove off in it. In my family, my kids would not go back in that car at all. I would not go back in that car. You have high tolerance.
You know that already about me, Serena. Come on.
Dude, I'm still surprised.
So Nyla and James were like, we're not getting in the car. They went to the convenience store. They sat for a little bit. But I asked them, like, we can go back and take this car back. The problem in El Salvador is everything is far. We had already driven about 40 minutes. And they were like, we just want to go to the hotel. Luckily, That was the worst of what happened in El Salvador. Everything else was up from there. Good news, the Hyatt Centric in San Salvador was beautiful. It was gorgeous. I think we paid somewhere between 5,000 and 6,500 points a night. And they were able to fit 4 of us in the room. The lobby has a really nice ambiance. There's lots of seating. It seemed very ultra-modern, very chic. It's a nice place to hang out. The rooms were pretty basic, but it was big enough for 4 of us so that we weren't on top of each other. I love that there was a bench by the window, there was a desk and the 2 beds, so everyone had somewhere to sit that was separate from each other. And the bathroom had lots of yellow. I love yellow. And they had just random alcoves and different things with yellow in there. So if you're going to go to San Salvador, I highly recommend staying at the Hyatt. Now, because my kids are over 12, when we checked in, the lady was like, as a globalist, you are covered for 2 kids and 2 adults. And because the kids are over 12, they do not count. So I was like, ma'am, when I called to book the reservation, the gentleman over there said it was okay. She goes, I'm going to check with my manager and let you know. Went in, we checked in the room. We came back down. I'm like, did you get to talk to the manager about the breakfast? And she said, yes, it's fine. We're going to waive it. I was like, thank you. And the good thing, it was the same lady because we stayed 2 nights, went to an Airbnb, come back and spent 2 more nights. And the same lady was there. So she was able to waive the breakfast on both of our stays. There are a lot of popular things about El Salvador and we were able to do most of them. We went to the Rainbow Slide. And this was one of the major reasons we went to El Salvador. I think in this Points and Miles games, like Miguel will go all the way to Brazil just to go to Carnival. He'll spend 1 day there and go somewhere else and come back. But we get to experience all of these things because of the benefits of you're not traveling with points, miles, or super discounted fare. Now, there's 2 rainbow slides in El Salvador. One is really close to the center and the other is about 2 hours away. I don't think anyone knows this, but everything in San Salvador requires you to drive at least 20 minutes. And that's if you're lucky. Everything that we went to was an hour away, 45 minutes away. Downtown is about 40 minutes away. It was a lot of driving, so you have to rent a car. Now, the rainbow slide you want to go to, the really nice one is in Cafe Albania, and that is 2 hours away from the city. The one that people tell you about that's right inside the city, it's $5, but it's not worth it. And this is from the budget conscious girl. It's literally 10 seconds. I would spend the time, go to Cafe Albania, that's 2 hours away. That's where you see the bicycle zip line, the maze, the nice swing, all of that in one adventure park.
That sounds like a lot of fun, Nicole.
We did have a lot of fun.
You drove 2 hours in that junky car to get to this fun place, and you made it.
Was the car part of the theme park also, like adventure? How much did you save by not going to Avis and going with this roller coaster car?
Not enough is my official answer. Not
Follow-up
enough.
Question. Did you see the Avis cars and were they a lot nicer?
No, I did not see them, but I imagine at minimum, they would have been washed. They would have been vacuumed. I'm sure they would have come with roadside assistance and at least a half a tank of gas.
Follow-up question to the follow-up questions. What lesson did we learn from this whole situation with the rental car?
Number 1, check if you need mandatory insurance. Number 2, stick with the big companies. Now, so I had a moment of self-reflection and I said, am I going to do this again? Am I going to go for the better deal, right? Because that's just what I'm used to. Or will I opt to pay for the extra the next time the situation comes around? I really had to wrestle. So for the next trip, I did spend a little bit more money and got a better Airbnb. So I'm doing a little better.
That's a big step for you, Nicole. I'm proud. Pay a little more for a nicer Airbnb. That's a big step for you.
Yeah, I almost booked a Hilton too. Almost.
Wow.
Changing lives one day at a
Changing
time.
lives.
Here's my thing about El Salvador. I'm glad I did it. I'm glad it's out of my system. I would say if that's something that's on your list, definitely do it. But I think it's a one and done for me. Food is great. Food is super cheap. We had dinner for like $20 for all 4 of us. That's right up my alley. $20 for 4
anything
people.
that's $20.
We know.
Okay, Nicole, going back to your Avianca flight, can you let us know how you booked that?
Avianca had a sale a while back and we booked one way on Avianca. We booked the extra light, which means you don't get a carry-on, and it was $43 per person. And I booked it directly through Avianca's website.
Wow, great deal. Did you have to pay extra for a checked bag?
Who's checking a bag?
Wait a minute. No carry-on, no checked bag?
You get a backpack. I'm
Oh,
like Dora. Backpack.
And does your backpack talk?
If it could talk, the secrets it would tell. And they didn't check the size of the backpack. My backpack looked like a 20-pound sausage in a 10-pound casing. And then on top of that, I tied my running shoes to the outside of it and they didn't have any issues. Like Southwest now has this thing where they're like, only one piece of luggage, blah, blah, blah. And they make like several announcements. But these people in Miami and Avianca, they didn't care.
Is this a backpack you have to fit under the seat in front of you, or can you put it overhead?
You're supposed to fit it under the seat in front of you, but everyone has the same idea. It's $43. And so no one has a carry-on. So we all put our backpack up in the overhead. I mean, you have people putting their handbags in the overhead. I'm talking like a small handbag in the overhead. See, if we all travel with like-minded people, we all achieve the same goal.
That's a great deal. $43.
I couldn't pass it up. I actually had only the one-way ticket going for several months, never had a way to come back. And then we booked on American Airlines. And Miguel, I was going to require your help for this because I booked American Airlines and then bought a backup Spirit ticket, but then Spirit moved from the backup position to the first position. But I wanted to make sure the Spirit flight took off before I canceled AA. And so there's like that 5-minute gap in the air when you still have internet. And so I literally canceled the American Airlines on the takeoff. And it was $88 per person on Spirit and $230 on American Airlines.
That's a good strategy to have.
You just have to pray that the internet works long enough.
Nicole, how many hours later was that AA flight supposed to leave?
So we left San Salvador at 12:59 a.m. and the AA flight was supposed to leave at 6 a.m. So I would have made it to Miami in time to cancel when I got here, but I didn't want to risk it. I was able to cancel it and immediately got the email saying that I have a flight credit for a future flight.
Because I think with some airlines, there's a window, right, where you can cancel. The airlines have different policies. It's like before the door closes or so many hours before the flight leaves. So I think that's good to know.
Yeah, initially when I called American Airlines, the first agent that I got told me it was a 2-hour window. Then I hung up, call again. So the second agent told me that I can cancel the flight anytime before it takes off. So that was reassuring.
Nicole, that's a good strategy to have because I flew Frontier this past weekend. I went to Vegas and my flight was delayed 5 hours and I was actually scared that they would just cancel it overall. And I didn't have a backup flight. My flight with Frontier was scheduled to leave around 7 or 8 p.m. on Saturday and it got delayed 5 hours. So I was thinking they were going to cancel it because it was now taking off around midnight. We ended up just going to an Applebee's. They have Dollaritas right now, not sponsored by Applebee's, but it was a great deal. We decided to start our Vegas party weekend a little early here before we even took off. So we did that. The Frontier flight wasn't bad at all. I think it's like less than 2-hour flight from El Paso to Las Vegas. And we ended up staying at the Bellagio. I guess I was double booked. I'm technically still at the Rio right now, but I'm back home. And the good thing is that even though our flight was delayed 5 hours, by the time we landed in Vegas, I had an email where Frontier gave me $75 credit. I mean, my entire round trip flight from El Paso to Vegas was $100 round trip, and I got 75 of it back. So that was the good news. But the bad news is that I have to fly Frontier again. There was no issues with our flight back, and the hotel, we stayed at the Bellagio. I booked that through the Marriott Stars program, and that got us, early check-in, which we didn't use because we got there super late. Late checkout, we got a $60 breakfast credit per room per day, and then we got a $100 property credit that we actually used for a dinner. And the good thing about the MGM hotels, if you go to Vegas and you book under one of these programs, is that you can use the property credit at any other MGM hotel or restaurant within the MGM portfolio. So we went to Best Friend, which is inside the Park MGM. We love that restaurant. And then you just charge it to your room at the Bellagio or wherever you're staying. And then you can get that credit to offset your dinner.
Miguel, the Marriott Stars program, is that similar to the Hyatt Privé program?
Yes, but Marriott actually has two different programs. They have Marriott Stars and Marriott Luminous. So depending on the property, some of them participate in one or the other. It just depends on which program the property you want to stay at participates in, but they're pretty similar benefits. So it's pretty much the same benefits that you get with the Hyatt Privé, Hilton Impresario, or the Virtual. So it's pretty much free breakfast, upgrades if available, and then some type of property credit, and that could vary on the amount depending on the property.
I think that's great, especially for someone who doesn't have status. It's like you're paying for this hotel room through these programs and you can get status perks, right? Can you tell people how someone can book through something like Marriott Stars?
Yes, Serena, it's a good way to get VIP style benefits or elite status benefits without having elite status if you book through one of these programs, as long as the property participates in it. And you can book this through certain travel advisors and like myself, so I can actually book these type of properties with these benefits. So if you're interested, let me know. Another story for the wins and losses, Nicole, aside from that $75 credit that I got. When I got to the hotel after midnight, I checked in and they didn't have any rooms ready. Now, I know that when you are late arrival, sometimes they'll cancel the room. When I knew my flight was going to be delayed, I called and I said, hey, I'm a late arrival. I'm still going, but my flight's delayed. We ended up getting to the hotel sometime after 1 a.m. and our rooms were not ready. We needed 2 rooms. And they said, we're just trying to find your room. And they did find in the notes that I had called in, because they said, if you didn't call in, we're sold out. We can't accommodate you. But since I had called in, they had to give me the rooms. Well, they found one room with a king and another one was a 2 queen, which is not what I asked. So they actually advocated for me. And without me asking, they said, because we didn't have your desired room type and we're going to have to put you in a 2 queen, we're going to give you an extra $200 property credit. So that, along with the $100 property credit that I had from the Marriott Stars booking, I had $300. So I was like ordering drinks at the bars that I probably wouldn't have, because they're like $20 each plus your tips and stuff. So I got good use of those credits and we had a lot of fun. We went out to dinner and breakfast, and the drinks is pretty much like it was all comped, and we had a pretty good time.
Sound like flying on Frontier paid off. You lost some sleep, but you gained a lot of food.
That's right. We actually went to Din Tai Fung, so the place that we went to in Taiwan. They have one there, and we're like, hey, we know this is good, so we just went there.
So good job, Miguel, advocating for yourself. It sounds like you got some good wins there from the Bellagio, but you had talked about that they had issues of finding you a room, because you arrived so late. I just had that similar issue at the Rio a couple of weeks ago. We went to check in and it was probably 1 a.m. when we got to the hotel, and they basically had no rooms because they didn't have enough housekeepers to clean the rooms. So I don't know if this is a Vegas thing, or I'm interested to hear how your Rio experience went too.
I was just at the Rio for a couple hours. So on Monday, they had pretty good rates. So I went to go check in, went to hang out in the room, and technically I'm still there right now. I didn't have any issues waiting for that room. I got the renovated tower. I didn't get to go to breakfast because I didn't go back after I checked in.
I hear the breakfast is back. They had changed the breakfast requirements for the Rio, but I don't know if it's because of a lot of Hyatt pressure, a lot of customer complaints, but I think they're bringing back the original version of the breakfast.
So I think that situation is very fluid, because I actually heard the opposite, that they were going to go to an even more limited menu. I actually don't know what it's going to be. Your mileage may vary if you go to the Rio, and what to expect for breakfast, because it changed from having a full-on breakfast to a special globalist menu to now potentially an even more limited menu, to maybe Hyatt pressuring them into going back to the original menu. So I wouldn't make any good assumptions on the breakfast until you actually go.
I think fluid's a very good word, Miguel, because my brother-in-law, John, he was there a couple weeks ago and they did the same thing. He just got the very limited menu that it is now, but they also showed him like this new menu that they're going to do, that it's not the full menu. So fluid is the perfect word for that, because I don't think they know what's going on.
Speaking of fluid, the only fluid I had in Vegas was tequila.
That's a good fluid.
It's clear. It's good for the system.
No, I had an espresso martini also.
I saw that, Miguel. That's your first one ever, right?
No, I think I tried it somewhere else before, but I forget that it's a thing, and it's really good. I remember you had it at was it the Impressions?
I have it everywhere I go.
And I forget that it's a thing, and it's really good. And I was like, wait a minute, I'm going to have one of these.
So you like it?
Yeah, I was just waiting for them to put like the beans on top, because that's like makes it cool. And
yes.
I guess they don't. They didn't have any at that bar.
Espresso martinis are hot. I don't understand the concept, because I think alcohol is like a downer, espresso is like an upper, and then mix the two together like
balance.
Yeah, I have to be careful when I drink that. I can't have it be too late in the evening or it's going to keep me up. But even in Emirates, they had the beans for my espresso martini.
So Emirates is better than, I think I had this at the Aria.
Let us know in the comments what your favorite espresso martini is. Maybe you're not into espresso martinis and you like a different drink. What is your favorite drink when you go to the bars, when you go traveling? Let us know what is your go-to cocktail.
Or mocktail.
After your epic adventure with Frontier, your wonderful nights at the Bellagio, on your way back from Las Vegas, did you happen to check out the Centurion Lounge?
So not the Centurion Lounge. We were with friends who didn't have a Amex card, and I feel kind of rude even telling them, like, this is the TSA line. We'll meet you over there. But hey, I don't want to take off my shoes. So we had to do that. But the Centurion Lounge
bad
is a little much. Yeah. Leaving them for a lounge would have been a little too much. Like, we'll meet you at boarding time. But there is like a priority pass lounge. We flew out of Terminal 3, and there is the club. I think it's called the club. So we did go in there. We each guested one of our friends in there, and we're there for maybe 30 minutes. And actually, it's pretty big. A lot of these priority pass lounges are sometimes small. This one was pretty big. It had showers. We spent some time there at the lounge. Nothing special, but better than El Paso's airport with no lounge.
Okay, this is a great question. Would you guys ditch your friends to go into Centurion Lounge?
I know this guilt that you all talk about and that you just spoke about, Miguel, and I've come to this conclusion. This is the new me these days. You need to come up to my level. I don't take off my shoes just like you if I'm going through TSA. You need to have a platinum card if you want to join me in the Centurion Lounge. Otherwise, I'll see you on board. That's my new motto.
Okay, Mitch ditches. How about you, Nicole?
Exactly.
So I have left my family to go to Centurion because I didn't want to pay the extra $50 and $30. I'll bring you back a snack. Now, when traveling with friends, I let them know I'm going to go to the lounge. You can come with me. It's $50, but I'm going to go to the lounge. And I give them the option.
That's a good strategy, Nicole. I didn't think of that, but
You mean telling them ahead of time?
Yeah, you sell it to them. You're like, listen, you can go to the lounge. It's $50. That's unlimited drinks. If we went to the restaurant over there and you bought 2 beers, it'd be $50. Come to the lounge. It's better over here.
maybe I should have tried. That gentleman over there said they could go in for free. I don't think that would work there. Yeah.
Not at the Centurion Lounge, no.
What about you, Serena?
I will ditch for a little bit. I will eventually come back. I'll go in, get a little bite, get a drink, maybe sneak a little bit out, but I will come back out.
I mean, you have to come back out. You're going on the flight.
I won't spend as long as I usually do if I were not with them. But I have to make an appearance in the lounge because I feel like I've got this card. Might as well use it.
Especially if it's a Centurion Lounge.
So let us know in the comments. Are you a ditcher or are you going to take one for the team? Where do you stand on going in with a friend for the lounge access? Let us know. Up next, it's our weekly recap. It's now time for our weekly recap where we share our tips and tricks with you from the stuff that we've recently booked. So we're going to start with Miss Maximizer Nicole, and you were able to burn that $50 credit, right? With Chase Preferred?
Yeah, I think this is one of those things that always goes to the wayside. People don't get the value for it. But I was like, I think I can find a way to maximize this $50. So we are going to Machu Picchu. We're going to stay in Lima and Cusco. And there's no Hyatt either in Aguascalientes or in Cusco. I don't know, running maybe. I had this bright idea that, oh my God, I can get $50 off a hotel. If I can find a hotel for $51, then maybe it'll be free. I didn't go cheap. I went a little bit more. I found a hotel that fits 4 of us for about $100, and the credit took off $50, and voila, a hotel for 4, $50. Not a bad deal. The good thing about this credit, it's applied immediately. When you log into Chase, you book through the travel portal. You use your Chase Sapphire Preferred and you book the hotel you want. Initially, it's going to charge you the full price of the hotel, but in about a day or so, you will see the credit for $50. If you're traveling somewhere and there's no Hyatt, think about using this travel credit if you have the Chase Sapphire Preferred.
Yeah, my hotel in Aguascalientes when I went to Machu Picchu was only $10.
Oh, Nicole.
See?
Yeah.
Was it a dump though?
No, it was okay. I mean, maybe bugs could come in because there was the windows were open. There was gaps in the windows, but
Serena's out. You said bugs, she's out.
So out.
But what's funny is they have really nice hotels here, like up to $1,000 a night hotels. And you have Airbnbs that are like, $20, $30. So anything, any style that you're looking for, whatever fits your budget, they have it there.
There's a Marriott there, right, Miguel? Tambo del Inca? Is that right?
in Cusco, there's a couple of high-end Marriott hotels. So there's one in Cusco and there's one that's, I guess, kind of on its own, kind of outside of the main towns. There's a,
Yes, there's one in
it's a
Sacred
JW
Valley.
Marriott, right?
Yeah.
I think those are more my speed.
Of course it would be, Serena. That is more your speed. Now, almost booked a Hilton hotel, but I didn't.
I feel like this is a new Nicole. I feel like I do not know this Nicole. You're not going for the cheapest option. You almost booked a Hilton. What have the aliens done with Nicole's body?
I don't know. You never know. Let's see.
And this is because your Hilton points expired on you.
Yeah, if I had those Hilton points, I would have definitely booked the hotel. But since those Hilton points have somehow magically disappeared, we're staying at an Airbnb.
Something I wanted to add about the $50 Chase Sapphire Preferred hotel credit is that you could actually do a points and cash mix booking. If you want to do that, if you want to use points or completely offset your hotel stay, what you could do is just choose $50 of cash and the rest in points. That way you get the $50 back, and then the remaining balance you'll pay with points.
Chase has the special promotion if you're booking through the travel credits and you pick two options. So either you pick a hotel and a flight or a rental car, then you can get an additional 7,000 points. If you pick three options, so a flight, a hotel, and a rental car, then you can get an additional 10,000 points. We'll leave the link for that in the description below. Not all cards are eligible for it because I tried to use my Chase Sapphire Preferred and that was not eligible. But my Ink Cash, that was eligible, but I would not have gotten the $50. So you might have to pick which one's better for you, the points or the $50.
Yeah, when there's promotions like this, you just want to register just in case. You never know what you might end up booking later on. And if there's some promotion that you can register for, just register it.
Right.
Just register.
Especially when there's a new card coming out, right, Miguel?
Exactly. Like Avianca's waitlist.
Yeah.
And remember, we do have a newsletter and we include deals like this, breaking news that we can't put in the show because we could record ahead of time. But with our newsletter, we can deliver that to you right away so that you'll have that information at your fingertips.
And for those of you watching on YouTube, I made a cool little QR code. So all you have to do is scan it and then you can join our email club.
An email club sounds cool.
Yeah.
I definitely joined that.
That sounds really cool. It could be like the LGTTP club.
Insider Club.
I've learned my lesson and I signed up for our email newsletter.
Good.
But Miguel, are you going to read it?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, shots fired.
That's what I read every Friday morning. Nicole, like you, book something through the Chase travel portal. And a lot of times people say don't book through the travel portal, but sometimes that makes sense. So I actually just booked something through the Capital One travel portal recently. My $395 annual fee just posted on our Venture X card, and I wanted to find a way to offset that because it's a pretty high annual fee. But the Venture X comes with a $300 annual credit for any travel that you book through their travel portal. And I don't want to leave it till the last minute because I might forget about it. Most of the time, I book flights either with points or directly with the airline if I'm paying cash. But sometimes booking through the travel portal is the right move. I have a trip planned to Norway next month, but I'm flying into Copenhagen. I didn't find any good flights using points between Copenhagen and Oslo, so I ended up booking a flight on Norwegian Air through the travel portal. The flight was a little over $100, which was completely offset with that $300 travel credit. But I have to book another flight to get to Helsinki to catch my Air France flight that I booked to Mexico City, and I'm hoping to cover that flight with the remaining credit. I saw that flight for about $160, and I was going to track it on Google Flights so I could see if it dropped so I could book it. But about a week after I booked my initial flight, I got an email notifying me that the price dropped. So Capital One is just giving me a $26 travel credit for a future trip. So now I have an extra $26 to book. So I think I'm ready to book that next flight.
It's an unpopular opinion to book through the travel portal, but our first points and miles trip was through Capital One travel portal. And I like it. Sometimes I find flights that are cheaper there than on the airlines.
I also don't want that $300 to go to waste through Capital One.
And if you are not sure about using the Capital One travel portal for your flights, I usually use that credit for rental cars so that I don't get spiders in my cruise.
$300 goes a long way in El Salvador, right?
It does, yes.
So my booking this week has to do with our upcoming Chicago meetup that is just around the corner. And I finally got off my and I booked my flight to go. And after my little Spirit experience, I decided to treat myself, and I think I'm allowed to do that. So I wanted to use the funds from my United Travel Bank, but I had a couple of issues along the way, so I wanted to share what happened and what I did. Back in December, I had purchased a different ticket on United with the Travel Bank funds, but I decided to cancel that within 24 hours because I didn't like the flight and I found another option. Now, with Travel Bank funds, they're supposed to go back to the Travel Bank if you cancel within 24 hours of ticket ticketing, and it's 7 days before departure. Well, they didn't, and I didn't track it either, and I just trusted United to do this full refund for me. So fast forward to last week when I was purchasing my new ticket, I was reviewing my travel bank and noticed that the funds, they never got refunded back. So I called. First, I got this agent, probably the nicest agent for United or any airline I've ever talked to the entire time I've ever had to call an airline. He was so nice. He promised to get the refund fixed, and I felt really bad because I didn't get his name and I should have. But I would never guess that an agent would be this nice at United. It took him almost 30 minutes to get a hold of the right department to get the refund issued, and it wasn't immediate either. It took 3 days to process, and he promised me he would call me if there were any other issues and gave me a case number and everything to follow up with him. I now see the refund in my travel bank, and this is just a note for those of you that when you do use your travel bank funds, to make sure if you cancel within that 24-hour window or you buy a fully refundable ticket, to make sure that you get that refund in your travel bank, because I know travel bank funds are a very popular way to cash out the Amex Platinum airline credits. So it's something you may just want to keep in your mind if you have to use them or you have to cancel or rebook. So best agent ever at United or any airline. He was brilliant.
You have to cancel within 24 hours to get that travel bank cash back. What happens after 24 hours?
So, Nicole, two things with that. So if you don't cancel within that 24-hour period, then it goes into a travel credit, and that's good for 1 year. And you can use it. I think they call it future flight credits now is what they're calling it. It's changed a couple of times. So you got to use it within the year after that if you don't cancel it within that time period. But you also have to book it within 7 days of departure too, because you can't use that 24-hour window if you don't book within 7 days before departure. So it's kind of like a two-part rule that you got to remember. And it also has to be used by the same passenger as well. So whoever it's ticketed in, it's got to be used in that name.
Because just like Hilton, I'm not a United person.
Oh, Nicole, what do you do with your American Express Platinum credits? Spirit?
I won't take offense to that.
It wasn't meant in an offending way, I promise.
Actually, I do know a friend whose Spirit is her airline of choice for those credits.
It probably uses all 200 in the first flight with all the add-on fees.
Yeah, she does. I use that travel credit either on JetBlue or Southwest.
You said you wanted to treat yourself, but then you said United?
For real. For real.
It's a Chicago hub. We're going to Chicago.
Yeah, it's the best of both worlds here. I'm trying to bring a little bit of Nicole into my life, but yet still have a little bit of comfort. I'm trying to maximize my credits.
So it's first class, I'm guessing?
Yeah, it's the recliner seat. It's nothing to get excited about, but yeah.
Okay, but if it's first class, then I get it. I just was like thinking just United economy is how you treat yourself over Spirit.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think the big front seat in Spirit might be better.
So I don't know how you all are getting to Chicago, but yeah, United first class, that's how I'm getting there.
I'm going in United Economy.
We can share notes.
I also use Travel Bank.
I'm going on American and hoping that my status will get me an upgrade. Fingers crossed.
Got American, and I'm hoping for an upgrade, but no guarantees. It's not a AA hub, so maybe I'll get lucky.
I know I'm leaving from Miami. It's hubbish over here.
It's pretty hubbish.
So we're all coming to Chicago in very different ways. Some coach, some first class. So we want to see you there as well. So Miguel, hold up your hand. We're going to put the QR code in your hand. So if you're watching us on YouTube, scan Miguel's hand. That's how you can sign up for our meetup in Chicago right there. So we want to see you. It'll definitely be a lot of fun.
I promise I'll show up at the meetup.
All right. It's now time to move on to Ask Us.
Hi, my name's Nabila. I'm from Houston and really enjoy your podcast. Thank you for everything y'all do. I have a question. I think I have the strategy for Chase and the Hyatt points down. I'm pretty good on the IHG. I'd like to map out a strategy for opening up some Hilton and Marriott cards. I really want to start trying to utilize these programs. I have a P1, that's me, and a P2, my husband. Would love to hear your insight. What's the best strategy in order to make sure we are getting the most use out of those cards? What cards do we open first, then next? I hear a lot about that Hilton free night certificate. Would love to get access to some aspirational properties. Just love any advice on how best to chart that course, both Hilton and Marriott. What cards to open first, what cards to open next. Appreciate everything you do. Hope you guys have a great day. Thank you.
Oh, Nabila, you have come to the right place regarding Hilton and Marriott. Both programs, they can provide some excellent value. And like you said about Hilton, there's some very nice aspirational properties to enjoy. And Nicole, I think you can set this one out because I didn't hear anything about Hyatt. So
Wait. 1 second. I totally have an answer for her.
I knew you would. Don't.
First, Nabila, congratulations on joining the Points and Miles team. And you started off perfectly. You started out with Hyatt. My answer to your question is stay with Hyatt. Don't go anywhere. Just keep collecting those Hyatt points from Chase. And I promise you, you'll be happy.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer, Nicole. Yeah, like that. I don't know if that helps her or not, but maybe we can get some real advice, maybe from Serena. So Serena, you have stayed at some aspirational Hilton properties. Maybe you have some really good advice for her on these Hilton cards?
I do. Nabila, I am so glad that you're thinking about a two-player strategy with Hilton and Marriott because these are great programs. I think it's great to diversify, Nicole.
Whatever.
So I'm glad you're exploring other programs, and having a strategy is key when you're starting out with a new program like these two. I've always loved the high-end Hilton properties, but it has become even more interesting for me because of the SLH partnership coming on board soon. All of the Hilton cards are American Express cards, and American Express typically allows you to only get the bonus once in your lifetime. Although lifetime could be a stretch because you might actually be able to get these bonuses again after 7 years. 7 years is a long time to wait, so having a strategy in place is a good idea. There are two great things to note about Hilton cards right now. The first thing is the bonuses are very attractive because these cards come with a free night reward along with a bonus. The second thing is there are no lifetime limit offers right now for these cards. No lifetime limit is otherwise known as NLL offers. Nice bonuses along with no lifetime limit offers. This is a perfect scenario for anyone who has had these Hilton cards before and also want to get another bonus and an easy free night reward. Here is your opportunity. On a previous episode, we discussed these cards, the free night rewards, and where you should use them. And you can find all that info on episode 2. Full disclosure, we were baby YouTubers back then and our audio is terrible. So we apologize for that. We've grown up so much since then. Right, Mitch?
Well, your audio was bad. Mine was good. So I don't know what you're talking about. All of us.
In terms of strategy for you and your P2, you and P2 will want to open this card at around the same time. That means together you will have 2 free night rewards if each of you opens a Hilton card. That way you can use the free night rewards back to back on the same trip. You can even add on another 1 or 2 nights using the bonus points you and your P2 received. So if you each open the no annual fee Hilton card, together you will both have 140,000 Hilton points and 2 free night rewards. That is a minimum of 3 free nights anywhere with no annual fee. If you go with the $150 annual fee Hilton Surpass card, you will collectively have 260,000 Hilton points and 2 free night rewards. That's 4 free nights at any Hilton except for one, for only $300 in annual fees. And I say except for one because the Waldorf Astoria Maldives costs 150,000 Hilton points per night, so you'll need a little bit more points to stay there for 4 nights. The Hilton Aspire card has a high $550 annual fee, but it gives you automatic diamond status, Hilton credits, and a free night reward when you open the card and every year thereafter. And when you stay at these aspirational Hilton properties, I believe diamond status is a must for possible upgrades and perks. I think that at least one of you should have diamond status if you plan to take an international Hilton vacation. There are many possible combinations if you want to mix and match these cards. So let's say you each get the no annual fee Hilton card and each person gets the Surpass card. Here's what you'll get with 4 cards: 390,000 bonus points, 4 free night rewards for only $300 in annual fees. Now, let's say you want diamond status and you each get the no annual fee Hilton card and P1 gets the Hilton Aspire card. Here's what you'll get with 3 cards: 305,000 bonus points, 3 free night rewards, $400 in Hilton credits, $200 flight credits, and diamond status for $550 in annual fees. And lastly, let's say you want to add in the Surpass card with the high multipliers for gas, dining, and groceries. And then you each get a no annual fee Hilton card. So let's say P1 will get the Hilton Aspire card, and then P2 can get the Surpass card. Here's what you will get with these 4 cards: 435,000 bonus points, 4 free night rewards, $600 in Hilton credits, $200 flight credits, and diamond status for $700 in annual fees. I think that the combination that you choose depends on where you want to go, how many points each night costs, how many nights you want to stay there, and how much in annual fees you can stomach. For which cards to get first, I would start with the no annual fee Hilton cards and then work your way onto Surpass and then Aspire if you feel like you need diamond status. Nabila, I hope that this helped you somewhat in deciding on what strategy you would like to go through with in the Hilton program. But my main reason for going through all of this is to convince Nicole to try out Hilton. So Nicole, let's see. Only 2 cards, no annual fee. You'll get 3 free nights anywhere at a Hilton, and you only have to spend $4,000 on these 2 cards. What do you think?
Where would I go?
The world is your oyster, Nicole.
The world is my oyster. No, you had me like working the math in my head, and I'm like, yes. You got me 50% of the way.
Oh.
Now you just have to find me the flights to go somewhere I could use these, and we got a deal.
Miguel will do that part.
I knew you were going to call me Miguel. All right, you might have me sold.
I'd love to see you at a very fancy Hilton.
I would love to see me at a very fancy Hilton.
You know, actually, Costa Rica was not on my list before, but now that there's a Waldorf Astoria that's going to be opening there, Costa Rica has gone up on my list.
I'm going to do some research tonight.
Because I know you love Costa Rica, but I don't know if you want to go back there again. But...
No, I'm not going back. I'm thinking.
You know, with my spirit challenge, I think we need to do a Hilton challenge for Nicole.
Oh,
I think you need to get these cards, Nicole, and I think you need to go through and you need to book a Hilton property and see if your tune changes.
So your spirit challenge was $20. This is sounding like $4,000. But I will report back. Serena has moved me from 0% to 51%.
Baby steps.
Baby steps, yes. Let me know in the comments, what properties would you want to use these points at? If you were me, give me some suggestions on where I should go. I want to know if I'm going to switch from Team Hyatt to Team Hilton, where will my Hilton dreams come true?
Waldorf Astoria, Maldives. There you go.
And remember, all of these programs can live in your portfolio in harmony, Nicole. It's not about switching. It's not about ditching one for the other.
All right, okay. I feel a little pressure here.
But hold on. I can make it better.
There's
Nicole.
more.
There's more. You can get top tier elite status with Hilton just by holding the Aspire card.
I know, that was very convincing.
So you can get diamond status for free just holding this card. And that Aspire card, that is a really good card to have because you can make a little bit extra back more than what you pay in the annual fee on that card.
That was the selling point for me.
Nicole, some Hiltons and some Conrads have an executive lounge for diamonds.
Should have started there.
Yeah.
That's what you should have started. Yeah. My initial hang up was you have to spend the 60 nights for Hyatt. So I'm like, if I split my attention between the two, I know I travel a lot, but not that much. But with the card and getting the diamond status immediately does take that pressure off. My other hang up, because I am such a Hyatt fangirl, is that 524 rule, and I need to keep the slots open to earn more Hyatt points. So it's almost like it's a good thing, but it also handicaps you. So you're giving me a lot to think about, Serena, but more than I would have thought about before this discussion. Miguel now assumed that you're going to try to convince me to go to Marriott, right?
Nicole, I need to convince myself to stay with me. their chart of what you qualify for and these bonuses, and if you had this card, you can't get this bonus and all that. It's so ridiculous that you're not going to want to hear it.
Oh dear.
With Marriott, it gets a little bit more complex because you have cards issued by both Chase and American Express. Chase has 4 personal cards. American Express has 3 personal cards and a business card. And depending on what you hold or which bonus you've received in the past, you may not be eligible for a bonus. So you got to be very strategic in which cards you get and in what order, because if not, you're going to miss out on some bonuses. Nabila, if you want to have these Marriott cards, you need to really just look up the different strategy roadmaps that they have online. A frequent miler has a good one because it's just going to depend on what you value. Do you want to get status, and do you want to get it automatic with the Brilliant card, or do you want to stack different nights to get the elite nights and have some organic stays for that? So for your strategy, it's just going to depend on what you value the most. Do you want to get elite status? Do you want to get maximum points possible so you can stay at the St. Regis Barbara like Serena? Or what is your plan? Because if you get a sign-up bonus that has these free night certificates, those expire within a year. And if you can't get another bonus on a card into 2 years after that card, then you're not going to be able to put those together for the same trip. It really depends on what your plan is on how you're going to redeem either free night certificates or points with Marriott. So with Marriott, you need to be very strategic in the order in which you get them. And it just depends on, again, your plan and how you want to redeem those.
Yeah, Marriott is super complicated. This is why I choose Hilton. I feel it's so much easier to navigate. So if you're going to choose between these 2 programs, I would start with Hilton. They just don't have all these rules that Marriott has with their cards.
I think that's really good advice, Miguel, about you have to be very strategic with Marriott on what bonus you get, because, this may be an unpopular opinion for some, but I don't put a lot of value in those 5 free night certificates or whatever the offer is that they're offering at the time, because those expire within a year. So you really got to have a really solid plan to use those certificates. So I think that's really good advice and something you really should weigh into your equation of which Marriott card you're going to get, because you got to use them or lose them. And if you don't have a plan for those, then I would definitely be getting a card with points for the sign-up bonus as to those free night certificates. All right, so thank you everyone, and thank you Nabila for your video question. Let us know about your strategy that you go forward with Marriott and Hilton. And it's so easy for you to be on our show. Simply visit any of our social media channels, or you can visit our website at letsgettothepoints.com, and we'll answer your question right here. That's it for now. I want to thank all of our hosts. It's Serena.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, Miguel.
Later.
And we will definitely see you next week, Nicole.
See you guys next week.
And I'm Mitch Shannon. You can find out more about us at our website, letsgettothepoints.com, and we'll all see you here next Friday. Thanks for watching and listening.
Let's get to the points.com.